Welcome back. Offtop Podcast, your man Corey Phillips, Offtop Podcast. Share, like, subscribe to the page. Thank you for tuning in. It is special edition Wednesday, a Wednesday edition of the podcast. Episode, are we on 7? We're on 7 this week. 7. Carson on the picture, Lance on the sound, on the mic check. Welcome in, guys. Episode 7. A lot of stuff to get into tonight. We got some breaking news and we'll get into in just a minute. Hope you guys had a good week. I had an amazing weekend. Took a little time off from work. Went down to the PDX. We're down in Oregon for a couple days. Came back last night to Seattle. Went to the Kraken game last night. First ever Kraken game for me. Second home game of the season. Kraken with the dub. 5-1. I mean, it was rocking in that place. I hurt my foot. I'll tell you the story. So I'm in my seat. You know, Kraken game. I felt out of place because I had my sweatshirt, my Kraken sweatshirt. But I need to get one of those jerseys, man. I'm telling you right now, I need a Kraken jersey. How can I get one? Who can plug me in on that? Comment on the video, like, subscribe, share. You got to plug it in. But I need one of those Kraken jerseys. But anyway, long story short, I'm in my seat. It's about towards the end of the second period. The Kraken had went up. I think it was 4-1 at that time, and they scored a goal. And everybody was just jumping. It was just loud in there. It sounded like Lumen Field during a playoff game, but enclosed with there was only 18,000 fans there, but it felt like there was 50,000 fans in that place. It was rocking. But anyway, there's this dude bigger than me sitting right next to me in my seat, and I was like, I don't know how this is gonna work. We got two big ass dudes sitting next to each other, and I'm just like, I'm trying to give him room because that dude was just swole, man. And he jumped up, and I was jumping up too because everybody else was jumping up. My foot kind of slipped. I don't know if it was some water or beer or something. Slipped in, and he landed on my foot. And all day today, my foot has been screaming and pulsating. I was like, felt like it's a bag of bricks fell on my foot. It hurts right now. So I've been walking with a little limp today, but all in all, fun time. I will definitely be going to another Kraken game. Those seats are expensive. Those Kraken seats are expensive, but it's well worth it. I'm telling you, firsthand. The only problem I have with the Kraken game is getting out of Climate Pledge Arena because it's in Queen Anne. And if you don't know anything about the Queen Anne area in Seattle, it sucks. Parking wise, getting in and out of a sporting event there, it's terrible. You think getting out of T-Mobile Park or Lumen Field is bad? It is 100 times worse getting out of there, and we'll talk about that later on. But in any event, I had a great time, great weekend. I'm back at it. A couple things we're gonna get into tonight. Another movie review from your man Corey tonight. We're gonna talk about. I went and saw Dune. We're gonna talk about that. That movie was freaking awesome. But breaking news tonight. About I would say around an hour and a half ago, about 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time on the West Coast, 11 o'clock on the East Coast. J.J. Watt is out for the season. He's got season-ending shoulder surgery for the Arizona Cardinals going into the game tomorrow night. Well, everybody knows tomorrow's a big game. You got Green Bay Packers, who are 6-1, facing the Arizona Cardinals, who are 7-0, still undefeated. And one of your key guys on the defensive end is out. J.J. Watt electing to having surgery. Now, I would say it's a big deal and it is in a way, but it's not a massive deal. I mean, it hurts the Arizona Cardinals from the aspect of a locker room presence. He's only had one sack this season, where Chandler Jones on the other side has had a ton of sacks. But it is a loss either way for Arizona. This game is riddled with injuries right now. And it's not even injuries, it's COVID related too. I mean, you had the injury to J.J. Watt tonight, but on the Packers side, you already had offensive line issues with offensive line players being out. That being said, Adam Lazard and Devontae Adams are out on COVID protocol. They tested positive for COVID a few days ago, and their availability for tomorrow night's game on Thursday Night Football is definitely in doubt. It's more than likely Devontae Adams or Lazard will play tomorrow night. But the J.J. Watt injury is the big news of the night. It just dropped around 8 o'clock tonight. So, how are the Arizona Cardinals going to be able to cope with this defense? I think they'll still be fine. I mean, on the offensive end, they got plenty of weapons. You just brought in Zach Ertz on top of DeAndre Hopkins, on top of Christian Kirk, on top of AJ Green. Running backs, you got James Conner, you got Chase Edmonds, Kyler Murray in the backfield. The team's going to be fine. Defensively, it's a little bit of a blow, but the Arizona Cardinals have been playing really good defense all season long. All season. So this will hurt them in a way, but I think they'll be fine. They have the necessary pieces to move forward. But that's a big breaking story tonight. Other things are happening tonight. Last week we were talking about the World Series. The World Series is well underway. And tonight, the Houston Astros tied the series up. They won their game 7-2 over the Atlanta Braves, so the series is tied at 1 apiece. I believe game 3 is going to be on Friday. I have to double check that, but the series is tied at a game apiece. Jose Altuve, what can you say? The guy's a beast at the plate. He is too good. But I watched the game last night, and kudos to Charlie Morton, who got hurt last night during the game, and the Braves ended up winning the game 7-2 last night. But Charlie Morton took a line drive off his leg and broke his leg. And what does he do? He goes out and strikes out the next 3 batters. I mean, that's an OG right there. He just toughed it up, and I mean, he's out for the rest of the playoffs and the rest of the World Series. But that was a gutsy performance by him. But Charlie Morton's a big loss because he's probably their best pitcher, and they might need him down the stretch if this series extends to like 6 or 7 games, which I'm assuming it will. But viewership for the World Series is high right now. I mean, and this is an intriguing matchup because a lot of people hate Houston, the Houston Astros, because of the cheating scandal from a couple of years ago. And you have a fresh team in the Atlanta Braves because we've been seeing the Dodgers year in and year out. Now we got a fresh team that people can root for. They made some moves before the trade deadline. I'm a big fan of Freddie Freeman because of his story. And if you don't know about Freddie Freeman, he's got a 30 for 30 on ESPN. It goes about his childhood, how he lost his mom to cancer when he was in elementary. And it gave him motivation to become a successful baseball player. And another family member of his passed away too from the same disease. So his whole story is amazing, and you should definitely check it out. But I'm a big fan of Freddie Freeman, and he's one of the best first basemen in the league. So the matchup is intriguing because now, like I said last week during the show, you kind of want to see, like, you don't want the Astros or like the Yankees or the Red Sox, the teams people hate. You don't want them to get out before the big game. Like if they made it to the American League Championship Series, you don't want them to get eliminated there. No, that's not good enough. You want them to get eliminated at the pinnacle. Like this is the goal. You come to here, you come into baseball or any professional sports, and your goal is to win a championship. Period. And the World Series is the pinnacle. That's what you train off season, spring training, the 162 games, all the playoffs, all the ups and downs. This is what you work to get to, and it's a chance to win a championship. And this is the best time for the Houston Astros to go down because I want to see them crying faces when Atlanta has the trophy and holding up really high at the end of this series. But anyway, World Series is back at it. It's my favorite time of year, the Fall Classic. And it's a good matchup, too, because both teams have loaded lineups. So it'll be interesting how this plays out. But that series decided that game was tonight. Got a bunch of NBA stuff. Man. But the one thing I want to get into real quick is my Los Angeles Lakers. Now, tonight, in case you guys didn't know, the Lakers lost. Not really a surprise, but they lost 123 to 115 against the Oklahoma City Thunder. It's Russell Westbrook's return to OKC. No LeBron James in the lineup. Now, if you hadn't heard, I mean, this is the second game of a back-to-back. They lost last night. Or no, they won last night. But this is the second game of the back-to-back. LeBron James re-aggravated an ankle injury from last season, but it's in a different spot, so they decided to keep him out tonight. They'll probably come back the next game because tomorrow they have a day off. But the second game of a back-to-back is always hard. The Lakers are 2-3 this season, and people are freaking out over. They're just overreacting to what's going on. You see Anthony Davis and Dwight Howard getting into arguments on the bench a couple of games ago, and Russell Westbrook forgot how to shoot a couple of games ago. Tonight he had a quadruple double. I mean, his stat line, let me go to his stat line. It's ridiculous. Russell Westbrook, where'd he at? I mean, this guy is ridiculous. 20 points, 13 assists, 14 rebounds, and 10 turnovers. He had a quadruple double, but he was obviously the best player on the floor. Anthony Davis, I mean, come on. Anthony Davis has 30 points. But here's the problem. The Lakers had a 26-point lead tonight. This is the one thing I was saying. Who is going to shut down and close it for you? Now, nobody is... I'm not freaking out, and here's why. Because LeBron James wasn't in the lineup. I can understand. This is a one-off. Now, the Lakers had like 3 or 4 chances down the stretch to win this game. And you were going to Malik Monk to get maybe the game winner. He couldn't get it. Russell Westbrook, he was all over the place tonight. I mean, he was 8 for 20. He didn't get the game winner. Carmelo Anthony threw up an air ball. And this is not going to happen. This is a team that's trying to get them. They're only 5 games in. This is a team that's trying to get themselves together and trying to see what fits. You're trying to fit the circle in a square hole. It just doesn't work right now. They're trying to fit the pieces together. And when LeBron James gets back, see, here's the problem. Russell Westbrook doesn't know how to adjust to stuff like this. Russell Westbrook only knows how one way to play, and that's with him with the ball and him letting create shots and setting up other people. LeBron can adjust to this stuff. LeBron can play the point. You can put him at the 5. He can put him at the 4. He can spot up and shoot. He can work off the ball. He doesn't need the ball in his hands every time. That's the beauty of LeBron James. So when LeBron James gets back, when he does, and he'll be back soon, he's only going to be out maybe 1 or 2 more games. They'll work it out and they'll be fine because at the end of the day, who's going to be taking those last second shots? You think it's going to be Russell Westbrook or is it going to be LeBron James? It's going to be LeBron James. They're 2-3, and in retrospect, they should be 4-1. Sorry, my computer's going off. But I just wanted to get to that because I mean, a lot of people have been texting me today, emailing me, Facebook, whatever, blowing me up about what's going on with the Lakers. I'm like, calm down. There's 82 games in the season. We're 5 games in. You know this team will be in the playoffs when push comes to shove. Anthony Davis is probably top 2 or 3 basketball players in the world on this team, along with LeBron James. Yeah, they're old. They got a bunch of old guys. We got seasoned vets, but they're gonna know how to handle their shit when it comes to the end of the game. Rondo is a floor general. He'll get it done. They just won a championship 2 years ago. Why y'all stressing? The Lakers will be fine. But tonight they lose 123 to 115. Again, they blew a 26-point lead in the fourth quarter, but I digress. They'll be fine. So, some other games going final tonight. I mean, there's some teams that are sticking out. Brooklyn loses again. Brooklyn's got more issues than the Lakers right now. I mean, no Kyrie. Kyrie's not going to play. He doesn't plan on joining the team anytime soon. So, but they lose again. They lose to Miami, who's an up and coming team, by the way, 106 to 93. Portland's. I got to get down to Portland for a game. If you haven't watched the Blazers live or gone out in the Motor Center, excuse you. They're great. Portland's great. I love Damian Lillard. I've met him on a couple occasions. Damian Lillard is awesome. But I'm a big fan of the Blazers, and I believe they won tonight. Did they win tonight? Yeah, it went final just now. 116 to 96 over Memphis. The Blazers are great. I think they have potential to do well. I don't think you can make it too far in the playoffs with the tandem of Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum. I think you have to switch it up. You're going to have to make a trade at some point. Obviously, you keep on to Damian Lillard. He's the franchise. You ain't letting him go. I think CJ's your odd man out, and you can get some pieces for CJ McCollum. CJ McCollum is easily, he'll give you 25 points a night, along with 6 or 7 assists. And he can shoot the 3. But CJ's my guy. But any event, I'll still chill. I still root for the Blazers either way. So, NFL news and notes along with the J.J. Watt news. We got some games coming up. Tomorrow is a big game. Thursday Night Football. Now, before I get into that, I do want to address last week, week 7, and the debacle, which was the Seahawks game on Monday night. I don't know how to say this without just plain out saying it. The Seahawks look terrible. Literally, you had one play that was your entire offense the rest of the game. It was non-existent. And to be quite honest, there should have been a flag on that pass play to DK Metcalf because he did push off. If you watch the play, I've watched that play repeatedly 5 different times. He pushed off. He got away with one. I mean, they ended up throwing a flag on defense for pass interference, but it got declined. Obviously, we're not gonna accept that. But it was the Alvin Kamara show. Alvin Kamara had 128 yards rushing, or 128 yards receiving, and 51 yards rushing. He was the offense. You had one guy to stop, and you couldn't get it done. Now the Seahawks are in a must-win situation because you're staring 2-5 in the face. You're literally 5 games out of first. You're not going to win a division. Your best hope is to win a wild card, and that's if Russell Wilson can make it back in a decent time. Because you got Jacksonville coming up this week. Talked to the guy today. They're selling tickets for like $25, $30. Cheap. The Kraken tickets are more than the Seahawks tickets right now. I have friends all over Facebook who have pairs of tickets they're giving away or selling. It's bad, man. It's bad. It's bad in Emerald City for the Seahawks right now. They need Russell back, and they need Russell back in a major way because it don't get any easier. You've lost 3 straight. You got Jacksonville, and then you got the bye week. So this is almost a must-win game for the Hawks if they have any shot. You have Jacksonville, then you have the bye week, then you're on the road against the Packers. And then after that, you're at home against Arizona, who, by the way, is undefeated. The two teams we play after this Sunday, we're playing the next 2 weeks. The 2 teams that are playing tomorrow night, we're playing the Packers and we're playing Arizona in the next 2 weeks. You're gonna get a sample size. I don't think we got a shot. This is looking so bleak. They're talking about he's either going to be back by the Packers game or they might stretch it out to the 49ers game. The 49ers game? That's like 4 weeks away. The season's done. Might as well shut them down after that. Excuse me. I mean, that's December 5th. You're down to your 1, 2, 3. You're down to your last 6 games. You have to win out to even have a shot. I'm sorry, man. This game, and as much as I hate to say this is a must-win so early, because we're not even halfway through the season, we're about there. I mean, there's 17 games this season, so we're going on week 8 here. But to say that this game against Jacksonville is a must-win, it is. I thought the Saints was a winnable game, and it's just. And the reason why I'm talking about it, not because I just live here, it's just like this team was projected pretty high at the beginning of the season to at least make the playoffs. And I mean, I know you have to let it play out, but man, I didn't think this team would fall off. And speaking of another team that fell off, what's going on with Kansas City? Oh my goodness. I have Patrick Mahomes in one of my fantasy leagues. 7 points total. It's another case of you have a quarterback that's trying to do too much. He's trying to do too much instead of run the ball some. I mean, it's almost like if you pick up a fantasy running back from the Kansas City Chiefs, no matter if it's Darrell Williams or what's the other guy, Hilaire, you already know they're not going to be running the ball. My guy had 5 points. He only had 50 yards rushing. He had more receiving yards. I think Patrick Mahomes is trying to do way, way too much. But those are the 2 teams that I'm spotlighting right now because the Seahawks are not on prime time, but they're playing at home on a Sunday afternoon. It's a must-win to me, in my opinion, for the Seahawks to beat Jacksonville. And to be quite honest, I think this Monday night because the Chiefs have the New York Giants this Monday, I think it's a must-win for the Chiefs because the Chiefs are 3-4. You're in a division where you're looking up at all of them. The Chargers are good. The Raiders won again. They're 2-0 since John Gruden has left. And the Broncos won again. So you're looking up at 3 other teams, and you have been in the Super Bowl the last 2 years. You lost last year, but you went to it. That's your second straight Super Bowl. The year before that, you lost. I mean, we knew you were going to lose to the Patriots. Not the Patriots. You knew you were going to lose to Brady. Come on, this is Tom Brady. Tom Brady don't lose Super Bowls unless he's playing Eli Manning. But in any event, you go to the Super Bowl the year before and you beat San Francisco. We knew you were going to win that. You guys were on fire. What's happened? That defense is awful. That's the common denominator between the Chiefs and the Seahawks right now, is they got two crap defenses. I mean, putrid. I don't know which one's worse. Just shit. It's just dog shit. The Seahawks have the worst defense in the league. They average over 440 yards per game. Trash. Hot trash. The Chiefs ain't any better, man. So I think those are two key games that you got to follow up. But that is the common denominator, is that defense is hot. Garbage. Throw it away. Because I'm done. I've gone to too many Seahawks games and watched too many Seahawks games to see it. It's done. What the hell are we paying Jamal Adams for? We gave him all his money. I mean, he finally made a play this week. It took him 7 weeks to get a play in this week. I can go on and on. I'm trying to be biased, but Jamal Adams, you trash too, bro. We gave away the farm for you. And this is how you repay us. Thanks, bro. I mean, and we were stuck. Otherwise, we lost off all the equity that we gave up for him. It's trash. But yeah, that's a big game tomorrow night. Packers and Cardinals. And then this is what the Seahawks get to look forward to. And like, Aaron Rodgers and Kyler Murray must be just looking at it like a big piece of rotisserie gold, just like ready to chomp on it, because they're like, man, I might get 450, 500 yards passing this week. Get that off. I'm like, man, seriously, it is that bad. It is that bad. And then on the offensive end, I mean, I know we're missing Russell Wilson, right? But you can't keep running the same play 8 or 9 different times and think it's going to get it the same results. The Saints had like 9, they almost had 11 guys in the box on certain plays. What part of that do you not think, oh, maybe we shouldn't run this time? Maybe we should pass. Maybe Tyler Lockett's open. Well, how many catches did Tyler Lockett have? 3? The targeting DK Metcalf. DK, man, do something different. Work the middle of the field. That's all I'm saying. So I just feel like when we get done with this game on Thursday, Aaron Rodgers is like, okay, win or lose, we know we got the Seahawks on our schedule. That's how I think people feel about him. Same thing with the Chiefs. They're looking at the Chiefs, okay, oh man, we might have to outscore these guys. Hey man, with that putrid defense, we might be able to keep up with these guys. That's what it's been. But here's the key: teams have been trying to figure it out. I think the league has started to catch up to Patrick Mahomes a little bit. I really think that's what the key is. Okay, Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, you guys don't run the ball. You have to switch it up. You have to adapt to the game, because the game is adapting to you. For the last 3 years, you've only been talking about is Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes. Now you're 3-4. Now we're going to see what you're made of. What are you going to do? Are you going to take advantage of the running backs? Because you got 2 legit running backs. And you got a ton of wide receivers out there. Give your defense a chance to rest up and stay off the field. Instead of 3 quick pass plays and you try a long pass to either to Kelce or to Tyreek Hill, and that doesn't work, but you don't run the ball. So defenses are playing zone or cover 2 on you, and they're keying in. And then on top of that, you're playing teams with a pass rush. That Tennessee Titans game, they were back there all night. He looked like Russell Wilson normal Russell Wilson when he's under duress because Russell Wilson, in the past 5-6 years, basically his whole career in the Seattle Seahawks, he's had to run for his damn life because the offensive line has been bad. Same thing in the Titans game. I watched that Titans game from start to finish. That's what it was. Pass rush, and then Tennessee was running the ball, wearing the defense down. So those are my keys for this week. I think Seattle needs to win. Absolutely must win this week. You got some other games. Sunday Night Football. You got Dallas and Minnesota. I don't know why the Cowboys keep getting on prime time. I'm over seeing the Cowboys on prime time, but this game's intriguing. But I think Minnesota might. Minnesota's coming off the bye. You got a healthy Dalvin Cook. Hey man, there's a lot of hype around Dallas right now. There's a lot of hype. They're up there in top 5 in the power rankings. We'll see what they're made of. They're going to be on the road. It's a road test, and can they be able to stop Dalvin Cook? We'll see. That's the other primetime game. Some other games going on. Tampa and New Orleans is going to be intriguing. New Orleans after that win on Monday, they're 4-2. We'll see, and that defense is playing well. The big rumor right now is Deshaun Watson. I guess they're like 95% away, 95% there on an agreement on a trade to send Deshaun Watson to the Miami Dolphins in exchange for Tua and some draft picks and some other compensation. But I said from the beginning, the two teams I would like to see Deshaun Watson go to would either be the Dolphins or Carolina. I think Carolina would be a better fit because he already has a good defense behind him, and he'll have Christian McCaffrey when he's healthy. That's another problem. Christian McCaffrey's never healthy. But when he is healthy, I think the workload would be off Christian a little bit because Deshaun Watson can carry that load because he's a dual threat. He's kind of like Lamar Jackson in a way, but with a better arm. So we'll see what happens. Bye weeks for Baltimore and Las Vegas Raiders this week. I already said Monday Night Football, New York at Kansas City. This should be the game that Mahomes gets right. I have him on fantasy. He's projected 35 points. I expect him to put up 45 to 50. You better, because I need a win. But some other matchups that I was looking at. Carolina and Atlanta, that's a big game. Buffalo coming off the bye. Let's see how they look. San Francisco is in some trouble because San Francisco is in the cellar with the Seahawks right now at 2-5. They're on the road in Chicago. Pittsburgh and Cleveland. We'll see how Cleveland looks coming off the bye. They got injury issues all over the place. All their running backs are hurt. Baker Mayfield. We'll see how his shoulder's holding up. Tennessee and Indianapolis. There's some good games on this week. My goodness. Tennessee and Indianapolis. Indianapolis has been hot lately. We'll see how they look. And then Tennessee coming off the win. Is Tennessee for real? That's what people like to know. And I think they are. But I think for other people around the league and just fans in general, I think they want to see a big-time win, even though the KC game is a big-time win. But they want to see them against a divisional opponent. So Indianapolis is playing well with Carson Wentz. This is the time for them to do it. If they want to take control of that division, they need to beat the Colts. Some other games, Cincinnati right now is number 1 on the power rankings, believe it or not. Well, number 2, because Arizona is number 1. But Cincinnati has the best record overall in the AFC right now, sitting at 5-2. Yes, sir. Cincinnati Bengals. Never thought I would say it, but Joe Burrow has been balling. They got a squad around them. The defense is good. They got a running attack. Joe Burrow's been playing excellent. They're playing the Jets, so they should win that. My Los Angeles Rams playing Houston. That should be a dub for them. New England and the Los Angeles Chargers. That will be an intriguing game. Chargers coming off the bye. New England ran up the scoreboard against the Jets. It was like 54-7 was the final. Bill Belichick was like, I don't give a crap. We running that score up, and that's what they did. I already talked about Seattle, Jacksonville, Washington, and Denver. Washington is on the verge of being eliminated, and we're only halfway through the season, and Denver's still playing well. So, a lot of Philly and Detroit. That's a trash game. I'm not watching that. But overall, there's a lot of intriguing games going on here, with playoff implications going on with these matchups. But now, I wanted to get into my movie review that I've been dying and just so excited to talk about. And I remember last week I told you I was going to talk about Dune. I've seen Dune twice. Watched it first at home. Went to the theater, saw it at IMAX. And let me tell you, I'm going to have to get some more water for this one. Hold on just a second. So, Dune is not your typical. It's not your typical sci-fi movie. If you're looking for like Starship Enterprise, lightsabers, explosions, all that type of stuff, this does have some of that. And it has some action scenes, but this is not. It's a thinking man sci-fi thriller. And if you've seen the original or you read the books, if you watched the TV series when they tried the two innovations of the movie Dune that they tried to do previously, if you've seen this movie, this blows it out of the water times a million. This is the perfect description of what I would say Dune should be in a movie theater. It was absolutely fantastic. There's a lot of politics involved. And I was with a buddy of mine, and he was like, wait a minute, chapter 1? I was like, yeah, there's 2 parts to this movie. And he's like, oh, and then the movie starts, and then we're 2.5 hours into it, and then the movie ends, it just stops. One of those movies where the action keeps going, there's things happening throughout the story that you're starting to piece together, and then the movie turns black, and then you just see the credits roll. That's how this movie is. And it sets up for the second part of the movie, which today they just greenlighted and they haven't started. They just got the approval to start production on the second one. This movie made over $40 million in the first weekend. It's one of the biggest opening weekends in the pandemic era. You remember Godzilla versus Kong when the movie theaters start to open up, and it made about a nice $25-30 million. Now this Dune's made over $200 million globally because it opened up a week before it opened up in the U.S. Now you got to remember that this movie was also available on HBO Max, and HBO Max has about, from what I read, close to 70 million subscribers. So I'm pretty sure every person, or most of that 70 million, seen it on HBO Max. And if you multiply those subscriptions, which is like, what is it, $15.99, $16 a month for people to keep subscriptions. So you got to add that tally on top of the $40 million they made domestically, on top of the $190 million they made globally. I would say that's a pretty good hit. It's a great movie. Again, it's a thinking man movie. I told my friend, I was like, just think of it as Star Wars and Game of Thrones mixed together. That's the best way I can describe it. There's politics, there's romance, there's betrayal, there's sorrow, there's action, all sorts of stuff. It is a great movie. I would suggest going and see it. Now, the next podcast that I do, because the next movie I'm going to see doesn't come out for another for another week and a half, and that's Eternals. Eternals comes out November 5th. I will be going to see that in the theaters. I will do my review not on the next podcast. It'll be the podcast after because the movie will be out. Wait, actually, no. It won't be on the next podcast because the next podcast will be next week before the movie comes out. So the podcast after that, I will give my movie review for Eternals. Eternals has already. I had a friend of mine who works at the Associated Press in Los Angeles. He got to go to a free screening because he's one of those movie reviewer guys. He got to go to a free screening of Eternals, and he said, without giving away the movie, he said it's excellent. And it's gotten nothing but rave reviews. Kind of like Dune, when it first released a week ago, the week before it released this last weekend, it had nothing but excellent reviews. It had like an 85 on Rotten Tomatoes on Dune, which is pretty good. You know, when they do the review and they have that little popcorn thing and it has a percentage, those are actual movie review people that work with newspapers and the magazines, so they're like authentic movie reviews. And it had like a 96 next to it. And I was like, man. And they said, and my friend said that Eternals has got that same type of reviews on that movie because it's not your traditional Marvel comic book movie because a lot of people don't know about it. Kind of like on the same level with Guardians of the Galaxy. If you didn't read the comics, the old school comics, a lot of people didn't know what Guardian of the Galaxy was. And they took a risk making that movie, but it turned out to be an instant hit. This is the same level with Eternals. And it's funny because Marvel keeps putting out these movies and people are like, what's Eternals? What is it? What's going on here? And you'll see the connection because I've already read the comics. So I kind of know if they're going off the script or they're kind of sticking with the comics, I'm going to know right away. And there's a connection. There's a connection with this film that will be with the older movies like Endgame. So, just to give you a sneak peek. So, Eternals in 2 weeks will be out. And this is my type of year. I got all my sports stuff happening, and I got my movies coming out. You know what I mean? Because we're leading into November and December, and December is a big month because we got 2 movies I've been anticipating all year long that are coming out, and that's Matrix and the new Spider-Man. I am super excited about those 2 movies, and soon after that, it'll be John Wick 4, so keep a close eye on that. But next week, got a lot of stuff going on. Before we go, though, I want to get into some fantasy pickups, some fantasy sleepers. My weekly fantasy sleepers for the week. I was doing some research, and there's not a lot of, I wouldn't say buzz, but there's not a lot of, there's always guys you can pick up, right? But for me, when you start picking up on the waiver wire, like where I'm at right now, the position my teams are at, I've picked up every single week at least a player. And my mindset is, if you are not giving me points after a couple of weeks, I'm dropping you. How many points? Well, you can get you a couple points here. No. I need guys that consistently get me at least bare minimum. I would say 8 is the threshold, but I would like to see 10 points at least. Anything above that, and you're consistently doing that, we're good. But if you can't give me that, then I'm dropping it. I don't like to drop, and this is the time of year. Like last week, we had a lot of teams that are on waiver. This week, there's that were on bye. Sorry, there's only 2 teams on this week that are on buys. So most of the teams are playing. Last week, you saw the result of a lot of teams getting on bye weeks. Buffalo Bills, There's a lot of players on the Buffalo Bills that are fantasy worthy. Gone. Los Angeles Chargers, gone. Just to name two teams. And those are your two high offensive powerhouses. This week, Raiders. Who do you have on the Raiders that's fantasy worthy? Derek Carr. So you're going to need a quarterback. Teddy Bridgewater is a quarterback that you should pick up, possibly. The other streaming quarterback that you should think about getting is Carson Wentz. He's got weapons around him right now. Who else is fantasy with? Darren Waller, if you're looking for a tight end. Zach Ertz, if you haven't picked him up already, if you were smart enough to pick him up last week when he was a free agent, if by some miracle he's out there, grab him right now because he's going to be getting targets left and right. Dallas Cowboys were on a bye. They're back this week. So you can plug in, and I'm hearing Michael Gallup might be playing this week. So that's another pickup worthy guy that you should pick up and throw into your, maybe as a super flex. Alex Collins is another super flex person. Even though he had a crap performance against a tough Saints running defense, he's not going to be facing the same defense this week. Alex Collins should be a streaming flex option as well. I don't like the matchups in some of these games. In particular, I do like the matchup. If you have any Rams players, start them, stream them. Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Darrell Henderson. I'm sure Matthew Stafford is rostered in most leagues. Allen Lazard and Devontae Adams. So if you have either one of those players, I'm assuming Aaron Jones is like taking it 99% of leagues. Who's going to be the next target? Robert Tonyan. There's one name I'm going to put out there that you might laugh at me, but he's going to be a good streaming option, and that's Randall Cobb. Randall Cobb is your number 3. Martez Scantling might be returning, but he's still technically on IR. Randall Cobb, he's still on the team. Yeah. So just think about that. Green Bay, if they're going to be down their top 2 receivers, who are they going to go to? I'm telling you, Randall Cobb will be getting a lot more targets. So as we wind down this show, I hope I gave you some good advice. Oh, also, one more I want to bring up. Mark Ingram. Mark Ingram is one of the running backs on the Houston Texans. There is talks that he might be getting traded back to New Orleans. And you remember how good that tandem was with Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara, because Alvin Kamara wasn't taking all the hits. Mark Ingram was your goal line back. Within the 20s, they're handing it off to Mark Ingram. So that could be a possible good pickup if you're looking for a flex option for a running back. Darrell Williams is also another flex option as well. So as we wrap up, I hope you guys like, subscribe, share, comment on the show. I love you guys very much. Thank you for tuning in. This was episode 7. Next week, we should be winding down on the World Series. We're going to recap week 8. Also, the Offtop, I'm on Instagram now. So if you want to look me up on Instagram, I'll tag it in the video, and you can come and follow us on Instagram. So we're making streams all over the place. We're going worldwide with this, okay? So we're going to have some special guests on here pretty soon. There's going to be some few changes to the show that I want to make. This episode 7 has been great. I've been blessed and honored to have this opportunity to do this. But we're going to switch it up a little bit and get some guests on, do some couple of things. We're going to still talk about my sports, you know what I mean? We talk NFL all day long. But the movie review is going to be on hold until not next week's podcast, the week after, because it'll be the Eternals review, and I cannot wait to go see this movie. But like, share, subscribe, follow me on Instagram. Love you guys, and we'll talk soon. Peace out.